The Galactic Imperium had ruled the stars for nearly 40,000 cycles. Across 10,000 worlds, hundreds of species bent their knees before the throne of luminaries. Vast fleets crossed hyperspace. Artificial suns illuminated entire sectors. Living planets sang hymns to the Emperor. Among all those species, humans ranked near the bottom. Primitive, fragile, short-lived, useful only as laborers, miners, and expendable soldiers. At least, that was what everyone believed, including Emperor Veilthor himself. The Emperor sat upon his crystalline throne high above the capital world of Ellis Prime. Before him stretched an ocean-sized chamber filled with nobles, governors, warlords, and ambassadors from every corner of the galaxy. At the center stood a sacred basin, the Water of Ascension, a shimmering silver liquid older than recorded history. Legend claimed the liquid contained traces of the first intelligence that birthed life among the stars. Only the Emperor could touch it. For 10,000 years, that law had never been broken. Until today. "Bring forward the Terran delegation," announced a herald. 3 humans stepped forward. A diplomat, a scientist, and a security officer. Captain Elias Ward, 29 years old, former Marine, decorated veteran, completely unimpressed by alien politics. The ceremony dragged on for hours. Alien nobles recited poems. Priests chanted. Governors bragged about trade routes. Eventually, the scientist accompanying the delegation stumbled. A tablet slipped from her hands. It skidded toward the sacred basin. Elias reacted instantly. Training overrode thought. He lunged. The tablet bounced. He caught it, but his momentum carried him forward. His hand plunged directly into the silver water. Silence. Absolute silence. Thousands of beings froze. The scientist looked ready to faint. The Emperor rose. Guards drew weapons. Elias slowly withdrew his hand. "I think I just ruined everyone's day." Then the water began glowing. Ancient runes awakened. The chamber trembled. The silver liquid rose into the air. Around Elias. Through him. Inside him. His vision exploded into galaxies, civilizations, and forgotten ages. A voice older than time echoed through reality. "We have found the heir." The throne chamber shook. Nobles collapsed. Priests screamed. The Emperor stared in horror. The voice spoke again. "The throne belongs to humanity." Across the galaxy, billions heard the declaration. And far beyond known space, something else heard it too. Something ancient. Something hungry. The devourer swarm had awakened. And it was coming. The galaxy reacted exactly as Elias expected. Poorly. Within 24 hours, riots erupted on dozens of worlds. Imperial governors refused the announcement. Military commanders demanded proof. Several noble houses openly called for humanity's extermination. After all, how could the greatest throne in existence belong to humans? A species barely capable of interstellar travel a few centuries earlier? The Emperor summoned an emergency council. Elias stood surrounded by armed guards. The room buzzed with hostility. "Humans are weak," hissed a reptilian admiral. "They are emotional," added another. "They are unstable." Elias shrugged. "You're not exactly selling yourselves either." The chamber erupted in outrage. Only Emperor Veilthor remained silent. He had spent the last day studying ancient records. Records hidden even from the Imperial Council. Finally he spoke. "The water has never been wrong." The room froze. "There was once a prophecy," the Emperor continued. "A final heir. A species born in struggle. A people capable of enduring what others cannot." No one wanted to hear the rest. Because warning beacons suddenly activated. Every screen turned crimson. Threat level Omega. Unknown contact. Thousands. Millions. Billions. Sensors detected biological fleets entering the galaxy from every frontier. Entire star systems vanished within hours. Planets stopped transmitting. Colonies disappeared. The devourer swarm had arrived. A living tide of nightmare organisms larger than cities. The first Imperial fleet engaged near the Helios expanse. 3,000 warships entered battle. 7 minutes later, nothing remained. The galaxy panicked. For the first time in 20 million years, extinction became a possibility. And all eyes turned toward the accidental human heir. Commander Zyra of the E3 watched the war unfold with disbelief. She had spent her life believing humans were fragile. Yet every battle shattered that belief. When alien fleets retreated, humans stayed. When worlds surrendered, humans fought. When survival seemed impossible, humans adapted. The Devourers evolved after every encounter. Human engineers evolved faster. New weapons appeared weekly, then daily, then hourly. Factories converted civilian ships into warships. Mining lasers became planet killers. Agricultural drones became autonomous strike swarms. Entire populations volunteered, not because victory was guaranteed, because surrender was unacceptable. Zyra witnessed the defense of Earth, a battle historians would remember forever. 10,000 devourer leviathans descended toward the solar system. The defenders should have lost. Instead, humanity transformed the entire asteroid belt into a minefield. Moon-sized railguns fired continuously. Civilian freighters rammed enemy flagships. Every kilometer of space became a battlefield. For 3 weeks the sky burned. When the fighting ended, Earth still stood. Barely, but it stood. Zyra finally understood humanity's secret. Humans were not fearless. They were terrified. They simply refused to quit. And that frightened the enemy more than any weapon. Meanwhile, Elias experienced strange visions. The water of ascension continued communicating with him, showing him fragments of an ancient war. The Devourers had been defeated before. Not by superior technology, by unity, a concept the divided galaxy had forgotten. Unless the species of the Imperium united, everything would die. The final offensive began at the galactic core. Every surviving fleet gathered. Human, Aetheri, Forlac, Keth. Species that had hated one another for centuries now fought side by side. At the center of the armada stood the throne beacon, an ancient structure awakened by Elias. According to the visions, it could destroy the Devourer Queen. But there was a cost. The beacon required a living conduit. Someone bonded to the water. Someone willing to die. Elias already knew the answer. The Emperor approached him before the battle. For the first time, Vaelthor bowed. Not as a ruler. As a friend. I judged your people unfairly. Elias smiled. Most of the galaxy did. You will not survive this. I know. The old Emperor's eyes filled with sorrow. You could run. Elias looked toward the stars. Toward Earth. Toward every world now fighting together. No. The fleets engaged. The largest battle in galactic history erupted. Stars disappeared behind weapons fire. Planets shattered. The Devourer Queen emerged. A living horror larger than moons. Reality warped around her. Entire fleets vanished. Then Elias activated the throne beacon. Light exploded across the core. The queen screamed. For the first time in millions of years, the monster felt fear. Elias felt his body dissolving. His atoms becoming energy. His memories scattering like stardust. Yet he smiled, because the beacon was working, and because humanity had finally proven what it was capable of becoming. The explosion was seen across the galaxy. A wave of silver light crossed millions of worlds. The Devourer Queen disintegrated. The swarm collapsed. The war ended. Just like that. After centuries of fear. Silence returned to the stars. The galaxy celebrated. But the victory felt incomplete. Elias Ward was gone. Months later, representatives from every species gathered once more within the throne chamber. The sacred basin remained empty. The Emperor stood before the crowd. Today, he announced, we crown the heir. Human delegates stepped forward. No one objected. No one protested. Humanity had earned its place. The chamber waited. The water of ascension suddenly reappeared. Silver liquid flowed from thin air. The basin filled itself. Ancient runes awakened. The same voice echoed again. The air returns. Gasps spread through the crowd. A figure materialized within the light. Elias. But changed. His body shimmered with living starlight. His eyes contained entire galaxies. The crowd fell silent. Even the Emperor knelt. Elias looked around at the assembled species. The enemies who had become allies. The civilizations that had survived together. Then he spoke. The throne was never meant to rule. Confusion spread. It was meant to unite. The water rose into the air. Thousands of streams emerged. One for every species. One for every civilization. The power divided itself equally. No emperors. No masters. No superior race. Only partners. The ancient voice spoke one final time. The test is complete. The youngest species has taught the oldest lesson. The light faded. The throne dissolved. Its purpose fulfilled. Humanity had not conquered the galaxy. It had changed it. And as the stars shone over a united civilization for the first time in history, the the people of 1,000 worlds remembered the moment everything changed. Not when a war ended, not when a monster died, but when an ordinary human reached out to save a falling tablet and accidentally touched the Emperor's sacred water.